Hello everyone. This is Philosophy 76, right? This is week 5. So then we have week left, basically this semester, the short, bright summer semester. So for this week, as you look at the syllabus, we are doing the issues, speaking about the issues of disability and dependency, the labor of care, right? I mean, and so the readings that I assigned are first of all Kitei, this essay by Kitei, Dependency, Difference and Global and the Global Ethic of Long-Term Care, right? That is the longest essay for today, and basically this is an essay written by Eva Kitei together with Bruce Jennings, that we are also actually reading, right? I mean, the articles that we are reading are by him as well, and Angela Vasuna. So then, in addition to this, I also ask you to read precisely from the Jennings, right? Anthology of many articles, right? From bioethics, the the article on disability, family care giving, and gender, and there is a lot of overlapping. So what I'll do today is first of all maybe focus on some moments of the Kitei article, and then you as always make sure that you write the journal entry. Okay, so the journal entry suggestion for today is relatively open, discuss the issues of disability, difference, dependency, and care. Difference also includes, of course, the question of gender. That you had to read on as well about. Okay, so basically write something about that on the basis of your reading of these articles, and also these are general issues that important in everyday life, so you can think about also these issues in terms of if you will your own experience as well. Okay, so in any case, when you look at the Kitei article, right? Dependency, difference, these are the main words in then the global ethic of long-term care, hands-on and long-term care. For example, the care for people who are precisely disabled, who have a severe disability from birth to death, basically, who constantly, if in the course of a lifetime, need to be cared for, right? So that is, or also other situations, long-term care, illnesses of various type, and so, but in any case, what's important in this essay, I will touch on a few points because I don't want to be too long. Like last time, I think that this works better, right? So I highlight a few points and then you write on. You should read, as always, in this essay, at least in this article by Kitei, focus on the highlighted sections. The other articles, there is no highlighting, but they are very short, okay? So read the whole thing. So what's important is, even at the outset, right, that Kitei says, people produce people. This is very important, and it is also something. This is on page 43, right? This is the first page, basically, and then this comes back on page 447 as well. The idea of the production of right. I mean, so what does that mean? The production of people, precisely on page 447, it's highlighted as well in relation to the question specifically of long-term care. So then she continues, or rather they continue, people need to be cared for and nurtured throughout their lives by other people, sometimes more urgently and more completely than at other times. Okay, so this question of dependency is very important. So, and let me say a few words about this. I mean, usually we live in a society in which we are told that we are independent, right, individuals with a free will, we have a choice, and so on and so forth. Okay, but this independence that we hear so much about is really fictional. There is always a situation rather of a dependency. Kitei, the philosopher that you're reading now, she wrote also this wonderful book called Love's Labor. You can check that online. Love's Labor, right? Essays on women, um, 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 equality and dependency, precisely dependency or dependence. So the idea is that at one point in life, everybody, this is a condition that Kitei calls inescapable. No one can escape, no one can avoid the condition of dependency at one point in their life. I mean, certainly everybody at birth. Newborns are completely dependent on their parents, the adults in the community, and then, people in a very old age, even if they are lucky enough to be in relatively good health, but there will be the fragility, the frailty that comes with old age itself. They need, again, to be cared for to various degrees. People who have an accident, people who are gravely ill, right? And then, in particular, especially people with disabilities. Disabilities is a kind of umbrella term. You will read that in the section also in the Jennings bioethics book. So, but disability can be physical only, or mental, or physical and mental, more or less severe. But in cases of severe physical and mental disability, then people are, in the care of others from birth to death, right? And so this creates, of course, a situation of dependency and interdependence between the person who is taking care of them, the caretaker, and the cared for, right? So there is this very complex, problematic relationship and uneven, right? Because I mean, if I take care of someone who can't take care of themselves, I have the power to do things for them that they cannot do. So the question of power understood this way, pay attention to that as well, because usually we think about power only in the political sense as domination, authority, and so on. But power is fundamentally, more importantly, capacity, ability, capability. We will see this word again. The ability, the power that I have to do something, right, that the other person cannot do. Okay, so but this does create an uneven relationship and a very delicate relationship at that. So think about this. I can't go into all these very important questions. I mean, what I said about the inevitable character of dependency, you will find that in this essay. And I want to maybe jump immediately to the question of inevitable dependency. To give you a reference, you will find something important about that on page 468. But I want to speak about this capability approach on page 452, which is very important. Okay, there is a section here called the capabilities approach, and the names of Martha Nussbaum and Amartya Sen are mentioned. Martha Nussbaum, a philosopher, Amartya Sen, an economist, and they came up, Sen first, but together, with this capabilities approach. The capabilities that lead ideally to freedom, to degrees of freedom, and so on. Okay, you can, the list of the capabilities is not here in the article, but you can Google that very easily, capabilities approach, and what are these fundamental capabilities that must be respected in everybody in order for people to have access to a good life, or at least, let's say, a decent life. For example, life itself. The first capability that you will find, Google that online, is life, right? I read, this is from the list of the capabilities that given by Martha Nussbaum, being able to live to the end of human life, of a human life of normal length, right? And many people are not able to do so. I mean, not dying prematurely or before one's life is so reduced as to be not worth living. And you will find the problematic issue, about this in the article on disability that you have also, on a Blackboard. That is one of the readings for today. So, I mean, what does that mean? What is then ultimately the question of really, the quality of life, which is very problematic. I leave that to you to think about. Second capability would be the bodily health, right? Being able to have a good health, including reproductive health and so on. Number three, again, this is the list that you find if you Google capabilities approach. Number three, bodily integrity, right? Being able to move freely from place to place, to be secure against violent assault, including sexual assault and domestic violence. And you know, all these things are part of the same idea of precisely the good life, okay? And then you will read the others, emotions, and so on and so forth. There are many fundamental. It's no longer a question of rights. I had the right to do this and that, but I had to have the ability, the capability, and if I don't have it to begin with, then this must be provided by maybe institutional structures and so on. You will find this again, the problem of the various approaches to disability. How the social environment is very often what creates, if not the disability itself, the difficulty within the disability, right? So, and this is actually what Kitei also says, that to begin with the idea that we are all equal and then we end up being unequal is a problem, because if anything, let me know if this is clear, you can contact me. Equality, right? Equality is the point of arrival of something, not the point of departure. Probably we don't start on the same footing, on the same plane, in the same way. We don't have the same abilities. Precisely, there are things we can, regardless then of what we can't do because of the law, because of culture. That's important too, societal circumstances, but even physically, right? So the question is, in order to be able to have access to the same, people must be provided with the right structures to exercise their abilities, their capacities, their capabilities. Okay, so this is very important, and it is important in all the other related issues that you're reading about. Okay, so again, let me know what you think about this. Write something again about disability, care, right? Difference, dependency. I hope that I made clear that the question of precisely the dependency, dependence or dependency, same idea, is very central in daily life, in our societies, cultures, and so on. Because again, if we start from the assumption that everybody is independent, then it is very difficult to understand, our precisely, way of living together, of flourishing, the possibility or the denial of this possibility of flourishing, which is something that you find at the end of the essay by Kitei on page 467. You find the word flourishing. What is it to flourish, right? So, and to have therefore a new vision of society, as she says, they say rather, on page at the end of the essay, page 469. So there is dependence. I hope I made that clear. There is interdependence, right? I mean, people are dependent on one another. And some people are more, of course, dependent than others. This touches also on the question of a competence, which is close to ability, capability, capacity, right? I mean, people's competence varies, right? And also the same person will go through times of greater to times of a lesser competence. I mean, again, if I'm ill, gravely ill, then I will no longer be competent the way I was before, right? So it's a matter of degrees, this question of competence, okay? So in any case, I hope I made some of these points clear. I can't touch on all the very important points here. Again, if you go to the disability article in the Jennings book, you see that the beginning is about the ethical and societal perspectives. And then, no, I'm sorry, I was going to the end, to the other article. The beginning of this disability article is, about ethical and societal perspectives. Then he goes into the various sub categories, defining disability, conceptual issues, right, on page 846. And then the question of the normal and the abnormal, big question, the human normal and abnormal, which is very often the result of prejudice. But think about that as well. Read this section. Then he has a section on impairment and disability, handicap on page 848, and then the two models of disability, the medical model right on page 849, and then the minority on the same page, minority group model, which is more about society. I spoke briefly about that, but in any case, and then he continues with the ethical issues. Right, the question of autonomy. What is this? What even degree of autonomy can people competence as well have? There are people who argue for autonomy, people who argue against that possibility. Then the question of, for example, very interesting, page 853, the disability, that's a section, rights, critique of a selective abortion. So we get into this other important issue in bioethics and biopolitics, abortion, and then he touches on also assisted suicide, euthanasia, that as we know is something that comes up when people think about conditions, people who are terminally ill. But this is also something that becomes relevant in a very problematic way in relation to the issue of disability. So I leave to you to think about this. Again, you don't have to speak, you can't speak about all the many concepts and problems that you will read about in these essays, right, for the readings for today. But choose some and keep in mind that you have to give a sense of your ideas vis-a-vis in relation to the question of disability, the question of then difference. I spoke less about difference, but maybe I did that last time. Dependency, I spoke a lot about this, and care. Right, so read especially the essay by Kite, but also the other essay, from Jennings, family care giving, which is very important in relation to care. I say that I will stop here because again, otherwise it would be too long. You have probably plenty now of ideas, indications as to what you should look into more. Then use your judgment as well. You can write on the question of gender, for example. Focus on that as well, and there is that short article which is also very interesting. Okay, so do write your journal entry this week as well. This is again after this week we have 1 week left only, and again if you have questions, always let me know. Okay, thank you, bye.